Hey guys, and welcome to my very first Pick a Card tarot reading. I think pick a cards are so much fun. I've been doing tarot for a couple of years now, and I've thought about starting to turn these videos into a regular thing. I love watching pick a card tarot readings on YouTube. My favorite person to watch is Shanetta. I think all of her readings are absolutely amazing. So I have decided to start doing some of my own. So we have got our lovely card piles here. Take a moment to decide and see which readings you are going to pick. I have included the timestamps for all of the different starts to each pile in the description below, so you can jump to them whenever you feel like. Just take a moment and see sort of which pile resonates with you the best. I would recommend not picking more than one, no, I apologize, more than two, just so that you don't muddle the message that's being spread here and get a little overwhelmed. But pile number one is a fluorite. Pile number two is a watermelon obsidian or strawberry obsidian, depending on, you know, which way you prefer it. Pile number three is a pyrite, and then pile number four is an opalite. So just take a moment, see which pile you'd like to pick, and let's get started. All right, so pile number one, you picked the pile with fluorite. So fluorite is a crystal that is very good for cleansing negativity and stress and just negative emotions in general. They recommend keeping fluorite around your house just to cleanse sort of the room in general. And green fluorite in particular is known for helping with matters of the heart and the heart chakra. So that's kind of the crystal energy that's being put in with this pile. So let's get started with your tarot cards. So these tarot cards in the beginning are from the white Numen deck. I will actually be putting all of the tarot decks that I'm using in the description below. That way, if you have any questions about which deck it is, you'll be able to see that. Now, forgive me if there's some brief pauses sometimes, or some jump cuts when I go to use this deck. It does have some tatas in it, and I want to make sure that I don't get censored, so I'll need a second to cover them up. So these first tarot cards we're going to pull are going to talk sort of about the general situation at large. So we have got the Four of Wands, okay? We have got the Devil, okay? All right, and we have got the Black Numen. Okay, so this is already painting a really pretty clear picture to me, actually. So the Four of Wands card, the deck's book in particular talks about how in the Four of Wands, this particular card, the mother is leading her daughter to a cult, and it doesn't specify, you know, what they're going to be doing in that cult, but the daughter's definitely being led into a situation that may not be in her best interest. And we've got the Devil card here, which traditionally depicts mental health problems and emotional health problems, definitely tying into that fluorite here. This card in particular actually pictures Lucifer himself as kind of a beautiful but evil tempter. And then we've got the Black Numen card here, which I personally associate with attachment, good and bad. Both of the, I don't know if you can see it here, but both of the dogs have these strings that are attaching them to this black void. And so I see that as attachment. So definitely here, I'm getting a sense and a sensation of someone in your life who has led you to a place that maybe not was in your best interest, whether it was a literal cult or a situation where your personal power and your free will and ability to take care of yourself is definitely in question. And I see that it has definitely brought some strife and some struggle into your life, and that you're now attached to something that you may be having difficulty leaving behind, or just trying to figure out how to get out of the situation in general. And this definitely plays into the fluorite sense of, you know, removing negativity. And this might be kind of weird, but let me be the first person to say, I guess, that I'm really sorry that you're going through this. This definitely seems like a situation that's being really rough on you, and I'm sorry that you're experiencing this. Let me see. Okay, so next we're going to pull a few more tarot cards just to see if we can't get some clarification on the situation. Okay, so the first card here, the first card we have is the World. So the World card in this deck symbolizes sort of a portal. You're in sort of a tunnel and you're looking out into a field of flowers, and it is a totally different place from where you are currently. And I feel like this card could either be talking about how this situation that you're in has got you in just a completely different world. It's not a place that you ever expected that you could go. It was not a place that you ever thought was possible. Like, you didn't know a place like this existed, and now you feel trapped or lost. Or it could also mean that you are actually in a point in your current situation where you can get out. You may not know how, or maybe you do know how, but the outside world is so unfamiliar and strange to you. Like, the options that you have to go towards are so unfamiliar and strange that you are afraid to take them. But I think that this card is I think this card is representing the fact that you are being presented with an opportunity to leave, to get out of this situation, as tough and difficult as that might be, because I know you are attached to the situation emotionally in some way. I think this card is telling you that you do have an opportunity to leave and that you can get out. You just have to figure out how. And let's see. Yeah. So the Seven of Swords in this deck in particular is talking about communication. So using your words. Specifically, the guidebook says that your words are magic, and how you use them is very important to talk about yourself, to talk about other people, to talk about the situation. And I think that it is definitely encouraging you or letting you know that the way that you talk about the situation or yourself or your ability to talk to other people, that could definitely be a huge key to getting out of the situation and getting free of the situation. Whether it's that you talk more confidently about yourself, saying that, you can, that you're capable. Like, say if you were trapped, if you're trapped living in your parents' house, if you're currently dependent on your parents, but your parents are not good to you, and you feel like you can't leave or you can't get a job. I know that things are really, really hard during the pandemic right now, and unemployment is really high, but, saying that you can get that job and that job is coming to you, or, you can get out from under them and you are confident and capable of living your own adult life and being your own person. I think that saying that kind of thing can be hugely helpful, or also just talking to somebody and getting help. If you're in a situation where you feel like you can't leave and you really can't do it on your own, maybe getting help from someone else, or maybe using your words to confront the person that is holding you back, maybe the person that took you to this place in the first place, or confront the people that are holding you there, to remove yourself from your attachments, or even potentially doing like a ritual, a releasing ritual to cut those ties, to cut that attachment, like a tile smashing ritual or a cord cutting ritual. That might be something that you might want to look into in order to help sort of remove yourself from the situation. So we're going to look now at sort of the astrological influences, and also this deck is very good as well for working through trauma. The traumatic influences that might be influencing the situation. So the first card we have is Scorpio. Intensity, exposing, purging, and renewing. So definitely there is a huge encouragement to investigate the situation, to maybe cut those ties and to remove yourself from the situation and to see what needs to go and what needs to change in order for you to get out of this situation. Let's see, the next card we've got here is Saturn. Okay, feel restricted, experience struggle, learned hard work and patience. Saturn lessons are difficult and they are really hard. Hold on, let me see what the last card is first. Sagittarius, optimism, exploration, and freedom. Okay, and this is just a complete aside. half of most of like a significant portion of the first card or the first tarot, or I can't speak. A significant portion of the first signs in my birth chart are Scorpio, and then a significant portion in the back half are Sagittarius. So it's just, that's a really funny synchronicity. Saturn lessons, they suck. They are really, really hard. And oftentimes it feels like we are being unfairly beaten down or unfairly, just really harshly judged for a situation. Saturn is the planet of justice and karma, and it teaches us how to grow up and how to be an adult, frankly. That is its purpose in your chart and in astrology in general. But the thing that's really interesting about Saturn lessons is Saturn lessons seem borderline impossible to deal with at first. But the more that we learn from them and the more that we start to get used to their rhythm, the more that it starts becoming apparent that while Saturn lessons are some of the hardest lessons to learn, they are also some of the most rewarding to go through. Because I know personally, now that I have started to sort of learn to work with Saturn energy instead of against Saturn energy, there's a flow to it, and it's tricky to find, but there's a flow to it, and it's very much going with the flow and not resisting what's being taught to you, and letting go what needs to be let go, and learning ways to work around the situation when you need to work smarter, not harder. And the big thing I'd say in this situation is to be kind to yourself, because you're not here because you chose to be here. You're here because somebody tricked you. Somebody who you care about and love very much convinced you that this was a good situation for you. And it's not. It's absolutely not. With that Devil card, it is absolutely hurting you and putting you in a bad place, but that was not your fault. And while you are the one left to pick up the pieces, which is really awful, it's really awful that we go through terrible things and we're left to pick up the pieces. All of this is happening for you, not to you. And you will learn things out of the situation, and it will make you into the person that you are meant to be. So this is very much, you know, what I felt like with that World card and the communication is very much find what needs to be changed, expose the pain, expose what you're going through, and go through the transformation that you need to. Learn those Saturn lessons, and then you will be free. Sagittarius is the sign of freedom, free roaming, joy, learning, optimism, just freedom at its finest. You will have an opportunity to feel freer than you have felt in a very long time. So that is the astrological influences. Sorry to go on a tangent there, but I feel strongly about the Saturn card, but that's because I love it as much as I hate it. So a couple of advice cards to get into. So these are my spirit animal cards, and these are going to give you some advice on sort of the energies to sort of embody in this situation. The first card is the Wasp spirit. Sometimes life stings. Pile number one, I don't know what you're going through right now, but I am sorry. Goodness gracious, that is just... The Wasp spirit is not a fun card to get, and that means that whatever you're going through probably has about taken you out, and I am so sorry that you're experiencing this right now. And it's just the hard fact of it. Sometimes life sucks, and things are hard, and sometimes you just have to accept that life sucks and work as hard as you can to love and take care of yourself during that time. And Swan Spirit, time for a deep dive. That is synchronizing with the Scorpio card, talking about that purging and renewing and exposing. Scorpio is an investigator. They look for the root and heart of situations, and they look for the truth no matter how much the truth might hurt. And I think this is definitely recommending that you definitely go digging. There's some stuff I think inside of your heart that you might need to start searching for. Start admitting to yourself what the things you're feeling, because Scorpio is all about feeling. It's a water sign. It's all about like emotions and feelings. Start really admitting to yourself how you're feeling about the situation, and really, that can be everything from betrayal, from the fact that someone led you in here, to heartbreak that you have to leave, to fear. Just start identifying those emotions, but don't overthink them. Let them flow and let them purge out. So that, because I found, at least for myself, I know I am a water sign, so it would make sense that I work like this, but sometimes my emotions, when they are in so much pain and I'm struggling so much, they've got me backed up. Sometimes I have to purge the water of that emotion and just the overwhelming feeling and cry and have a meltdown and let it out and just let it pour out of me. And then I can think afterwards, and I can actually look at the situation and think logically and rationally and start working through what I need to do to make the situation better. So I would definitely recommend doing that deep dive. And I have got, let's move these off to the side here. I've got a few more advice cards for you to see what sort of energies to bring into the situation. Okay, overrate your intuition. So absolutely. What I was saying with the Scorpio card, with the Swan Spirit, follow your gut instinct, even if it doesn't make any sense. And that's going to be hard, because the fact that you got led into this situation by somebody means that it's possibly an abusive situation, or it's possibly a situation where your feelings have been let down and put down for so long that you don't trust yourself anymore. I speak from experience. I have also dealt with this, and it's taking me years to recover. I'm still in my baby steps of recovery on this, and it's hard because it makes you afraid of your own gut instinct, but your gut instinct is gonna know better than anything else. This is just very much follow your feelings, follow your intuition. Even if what they're telling you doesn't make sense or doesn't have a logical conclusion, just keep chasing that, because you're gonna find the truth, that nugget of truth at the bottom of that lake, and it's gonna be the thing that changes everything for you. You are epic. Okay. I mean, there's not a lot I have to say about that. I have found that the people that are the most abused and the most that put down are often the people that are some of the most amazing people in the world. And they are full of so much potential and so much power. And that is really what I'm getting from that, is that you are an epic person. You are a hero. And the fact that you have been through this and that you are going through this now, you probably don't feel like a hero right now. You probably feel like the exact opposite. But I think this card is telling you that if you can get through this and you can come out the other side in your power and living your life for you, and obviously caring about other people, but following your dreams and following who you truly want to be, I think you have the potential to make literal magic. And I think that this card is reminding you that that is who you really are, and that you are not who they told you to be. You are someone so unique and special, and getting through this will liberate you to be able to express that and experience that. And the very last card, feed your artist. Okay, that's actually really funny, because when I was looking at that card, the epic card, I was thinking, I was picturing an artist I follow on Instagram that makes like custom food purses and stuff. And her stuff is just so incredible. And for some reason that was coming to mind when I was looking at that card, talking about you being epic, and then now it's saying feed your artist. You might have an artist spirit in you. That message might not be for everyone, but you might be an artist. You might draw or make or craft on some level. And even if you don't, it's always really good and holistic to do art and to do crafting. It helps the soul and it helps heal and nurture. I 100% express how you feel. Going back to those feelings, giving expression and form to the feelings that are inside of you. Number one, this might mean that you actually are an artist, and you could maybe start your own small business like an Etsy, or do art professionally or freelance and be an artist. But it also just might be saying that just feed that inner artist, create, do something that's going to bring you joy, because I think that that is going to help, connect you to your feelings and can help you do that deep dive and expose the things inside of yourself that need to be exposed. But I also think that I'm really getting that it could turn into a viable source of income for you, like a very viable source. Maybe they told you that you can't. Maybe they told you that being an artist sucks or your art isn't good. But first off, Your art may not be good yet, but everybody gets better with time and practice. That's literally the truth with everything. But I have a feeling you have huge potential to be an art, for some of you. You have huge potential to be an artist and to turn that into a viable source of income. But even if that's not for you, just giving art and form to your feelings can hugely help you in this situation. And I've rambled on long enough, so we will get to our very final advice card from the universe deck. These are just little notes and messages, to just love messages. They can be kind of challenging sometimes, but they are sweet. And this one says, if you've ever suddenly found and been loved by someone amazing, awesome, fun, and fantastic, chances are astronomical you will again. If you haven't yet found such a person, chances are astronomical that you will. It's up to you, the universe. And I really feel like that's actually talking about this situation, because this may be people that you love, maybe a family member or friends or a partner, a romantic partner, and maybe it's gonna wreck you that you have to leave that situation. But I think that this is telling you that if you found love with these people or whoever they are, you can find that love again, and that love will be more sincere and true if you're in a place where you can love yourself and find someone who values you for who you really are. On the very back of the card is you'll find what you seek. So I hope this reading helped. I honestly pray that you are able to handle the situation that you're in. I have been there. I know what it feels like, but I know definitely based off of this, you are more than strong enough to deal with the situation. So thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. All right, hello pile number 2. You chose the strawberry or watermelon obsidian. Strawberry and watermelon obsidian is a stone that brings confidence and helps encourage overcoming fears and phobias. True story, I actually had a really tense moment in my life that I was very concerned about, doing a heckin' concern. And I actually brought this stone with me and fidgeted with it while I sat in the restaurant booth across from somebody, and it actually really helped me a lot. So, that's a good thing. I don't work with my crystals super often. I love them to death, but I don't work with them super often, but that was one of those moments where this really helped. So, can confirm, personal testimony, this works. So that's sort of the energy, I think, going into this pile, is that overcoming fears and phobias and having confidence to carry yourself how you wish to. So put that up here. So let's get into this reading. So the very first cards we're going to pull, this is the White Numen deck. All of the tarot decks that I use will be in the description box down below. So that way, if you have any questions, you can see which ones they are. So the White Numen deck, bear with me if there's any weird cuts or jump cuts. The White Numen deck does have some tatas in it, so I want to make sure that Daddy YouTube does not censor me. So if there's any cuts, it's because I'm having to stop and censor that. But these cards will talk about sort of the situation at large. So let's get into that. So the very first card we've got, the White Numen. Okay, goodness. Pile number 1 had Black Numen. So it's really interesting that White Numen, it ended with Black Numen. So it's really interesting that White Numen starts this, this reading. So the White Numen, to me, personally, represents unattachment. The bull is a religious and spiritual symbolism in a lot of Indian and Hindu culture, and a lot of that type of spirituality in that area of the world is revolved around Buddhistic principles and the idea of nirvana and reincarnation, and a lot of the amazing laws of attraction and that kind of thing that we have come from that area of the world. I would highly suggest, if you don't know about law of attraction or affirmations and that kind of thing, do some research into the culture and understanding, you know, respecting their history and respecting that that's where it came from, and kind of learning about the different affirmations and laws of attraction, that kind of thing. But anyway, this represents to me unattachment. So the idea of removing yourself from attachments to people and places and things, and kind of integrating into your own spirituality and sense of freedom, and becoming your own entity, and being more at one with your spiritual or higher self, and a little less attached to earthly things. So that's what White Numen is for. Hello, I'm back. I told you that we might need to do some censorship, and we did, because there is a Tata on this card. Not a very large one, but it's there. So this is the Hierophant card. The Hierophant traditionally represents well-established and well-known conventions. So a priestess is depicted on the Hierophant card, a woman who knows what she's about and has, you know, been initiated into the rites of her religion and culture, and studied and learned everything that her ancestors did, and just, it very much represents well-established, well-known knowledge. So like well-grounded and founded traditional practices, following, doing your cooking by the book, basically. So that is what that card represents. And then we have got Ace of Wands. Okay. All right. Interesting. So I'm kind of seeing something a little interesting here, a little edgy, a little maybe off the bat here. Okay. You know what? Give me a moment. I'm actually going to go ahead and pull the next set of tarot cards. These are sort of further clarification on the situation. I'm going to see if they kind of... No, you know what? I'm going to be bold. I kind of see you being, you know, unattached, spiritual, either unattached spiritually or emotionally to a situation. You very much follow the rules, do the cooking by the book, you know, follow tradition, and set, and you're not like super attached to anything and like emotionally involved, and maybe you tend to remove yourself. Maybe you're an air sign or an earth sign. You tend to remove yourself emotionally from the situation. But someone's coming in here to shake you up a little bit, because the Ace of Wands represents fire potential, and fire energy is passion and drive and pushing, and fire energy often is rebellious and doesn't necessarily follow the rules. And sometimes it could be overwhelming passion that might shake this up a little bit. Maybe a new lover, maybe a new drive or a new calling, or something that interests you, that really gets your juices going, that maybe very much breaks convention. Maybe you're not used to losing your cool, and maybe this might make you lose your cool. Just saying. That's kind of the vibe I'm getting a little bit with this reason. Let's go ahead and pull these cards and see what they're... Y'all. Okay. All right. Okay. No, all right. Okay. Maybe this is something that is going to happen to you, or maybe this is something that has happened to you. Because this is the Knight of Wands. So for those of you who don't know, this is the Ace of Wands, obviously. Even bigger fire than the other card. And then this is the Knight of Wands, which the Knight of Wands traditionally represents someone passionately charging into the situation and just like overwhelming it and overcoming it, and maybe being a little hasty and being a little out of control and not really paying much attention to where they're going, and just really pushing it, like, you know, drag racing style, just really going after that thing that they want without really paying much attention to who they hurt in the process, or making sure they're taking care of themselves, or really having much thought and logic to the situation. So maybe this is a situation that is going to happen to you, or maybe it's a situation that's already happened to you. Maybe you were unattached and removed and did your, you know, stuff by the book, and maybe this happened to you and you just got completely overwhelmed with I'm just really feeling a new love, whether that's a new lover or a new passion. Definitely feeling the lover here, but maybe a new love or a new passion, or something that you were really like a new career path, maybe. Like maybe a creative one versus maybe a more traditional like STEM related career. And you just got totally overwhelmed and you maybe rushed forward because you were not used to feeling this kind of a passion, and maybe you are super off kilter by what's happened, which I don't listen, honey, that I don't blame you. I don't blame you at all. Goodness gracious. So let's pull the astrology cards here, these oracle cards, and see what kind of influences are going on in this situation in particular. I'm just gonna shift everybody up. Okay, let me make sure to cover the boobie. Okay. Gemini. Okay, definitely feeling the lover part here. Definitely feeling that. Venus. Okay. All right. And fire. Goodness gracious. Girl, whatever this is steamy. This is steamy as heck. I am really feeling that lover with the Gemini, with the communication and talking to someone new, and the Venus of the romance and the fire. Good Lord, this just ate you up, didn't it? And that maybe isn't a bad thing. Like, that might be okay, but it does kind of come off to me that maybe you're in a little bit of shock over this situation. And again, I don't blame you. I would be too. Let's see. Let's look at your spirit animal cards. We're moving through this pull fast. I apologize. This one's a little, I'm getting the last pile was a lot of thought and trauma work. This is just, nope, you're hot and heavy. We're just going for it. We're rolling with it. Let's see what your spirit animal oracle cards say and what kind of advice. Canary spirit, sing your own song. And vulture spirit, nothing is wasted. Okay. That's really interesting to me. Canary spirit, sing your own song. This is definitely, I said this may not be a bad thing. This is definitely encouraging you that this isn't a bad thing. Whatever, I know I've been leaning heavy into the romance here, but it could also be a new passion, maybe a new form of art. Definitely something that's self-expressive, whether your romance is very verbally self-expressive, or if it's a new passion or something. Definitely encouraging you to be yourself, even if that might conflict with the person that you used to be. And I think maybe that's what the vulture card is over here talking about. Vulture spirit talks about how nothing is wasted. And I've gotten vulture spirit a lot when I have been in a really rough place in my life, when I've lost things that meant a lot to me, or situations that just felt like a total waste and that were awful, and I couldn't figure out why they'd gone through them. And vulture spirit's definitely here to remind us that spirit does not intend for any part of our life to be wasted. Things that happen to us happen for us, not to us. And it's so that we can learn and that we can become a better person and that we can grow. And I really think that I feel like this is talking about this version of you. This version that was confident and cool and unattached and, just the part of you that had it all together and had it all figured out and had your ducks in a row and dotted your I's and crossed your T's, that kind of person. I think that was not wasted. And maybe you've gone through kind of an awakening with all this fire energy. Maybe parts of yourself that you never knew existed are suddenly coming to light and suddenly overwhelming you. And maybe you feel like you wasted that first part of your life. Or maybe you are afraid that if you fully lean into becoming this passionate, fiery person, that all of the effort and energy that you put into being that very earth sign and air sign person, like very earth and air energy of like groundedness and stability and unattachment and like free floating, maybe that'll be lost, all that energy and effort, like midlife crisis vibes of maybe you're afraid that that's going to be lost. And I think vulture spirit's here to remind you that all of that was for a reason, just like all this fire coming into your life is for a reason. And nothing of that's going to be lost or wasted. it's actually going to be very important. I mean, if this is a creative venture, maybe you could use those talents. I honestly keep getting businessman vibes. I don't know why, but businessman, or like someone who very much has their accounts balanced and runs under a budget, that kind of thing. You could use that in order to creatively start your own business. I don't know why I have the previous pile I was recommending they start a artistic business. I just have art business on the brain. Maybe it's because I'm looking at starting my own Etsy. I don't know. But definitely maybe you could use those skills, or maybe you could help teach others. Maybe someone who doesn't have enough discipline in their life, or enough unattachment, or is unable to remove themselves from a situation enough to be able to process what they need to do logically. Maybe you bring that to them. But for whatever reason, this is not going to be wasted. What that is not going to be wasted. And I think this canary spirit is encouraging you to move forward with this new, vivid, fiery, I mean, the fiery of the canary matching the fire of all of these fire cards. There's, good Lord, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 red cards in this pile, like 7 red and orange cards in this pile. Good Lord. So yeah, definitely. Or if it's a person, maybe this is encouraging you to sing a love song, really lean into this situation. And maybe there was someone you were with before and this new person's usurping that. And maybe you're afraid that previous effort is going to go wasted, or, just previous efforts in general. And I think that this is definitely telling you that you're not going to lose anything from this. So let us move on. So let's get some advice from our creators deck. So this is going to tell you just a little more advice before we wrap up. A little more on how to handle this situation. Choose who you are becoming. That is really interesting, because I definitely have been feeling that this whole time with that, being someone else, and then this fire energy coming in and transforming you into something else. And that might be scary, and it might be scary to leave that old part of you behind. But, it's really interesting. There's a really fine balance between being who you are versus also choosing who you are going to become. Like, as human beings with rational thought, we have the power to choose what we're going to do with ourselves and our life and who we're going to become. And I think as long as you do it with love, like, don't harass yourself to become someone you're not. But I think this is definitely letting you know that it's okay to choose to be someone else. It's okay to choose a new life path with a new person or a new passion. It's okay to make that choice. There's nothing wrong with making that choice. And then if the end you want to integrate, maybe you want to integrate this new passion back into who you are. That's okay too. It's your choice. And I think that it's really important that you make that choice instead of letting that choice happen to you. Because I've always heard that if you don't make choices, life will make them for you. So it's better to choose yourself than to have to be reactionary versus proactive. External validation in reverse. Okay. So what that definitely says to me, because I kept picturing the situation where, like, with the lover specifically, maybe your parents or other people in your life do not approve of this person. Or if it's a new passion, maybe they don't approve of this person, the new passion either. Maybe sorry, my camera stopped recording there and I don't know why. Maybe you're not very good at what you're passionate about yet. Maybe it's like an artistic thing and you haven't really built the skills yet, but number one, it makes you super excited. And number two, you can tell that you're gonna get there. Because like I was telling the last group, it doesn't matter what kind of an artist you are, you can always get better. Practice always makes perfect. Any anybody can become a good artist at anything they choose as long as they practice enough and they love it and they really just put enough time into it. Maybe you have like financial limitations on this. Maybe, and speaking of financial limitations, maybe if you ended up being with this person that you are into, maybe your parents are like, well, fine, you don't get our financial support anymore. Or you don't get, you don't get to live with us anymore. And now you have to live on your own. And maybe that would be a limitation for you. You now are suddenly financially going to have to deal with situations, whatever it may be. I think this card's encouraging you to just, if there's something about the situation that scares you, some kind of limitation or struggle, I think definitely you should really look at this as a way for you to grow as a person, which can really suck, especially if you're talking about a financial situation. I'm just thinking finances because of the green, frankly. But if it's a financial situation, trust me, I have been in actually an extremely difficult financial situation my past, God, coming up on 3 years now. And I really only just got to the point where I recovered. And trust me, I get how difficult that can be. Or if you just feel like you don't have the confidence yet or like the skill yet, lean into the situation. It might surprise you how much it teaches you and how it shapes the person who you become and the confidence you may gain from going through that. It's the last deck had Saturn lessons in it. Saturn is the planet of your limitations, and they can be extremely frustrating, but every person has limitations so that they do not God mod everything and destroy the world. Like that's the real tea. Everyone has limitations so that they can't reach infinite potential and become All Might and just destroy everyone. So that is really why they're there. And they're also there to teach you and to help you grow as a person. And sometimes overcoming those limitations, you actually have huge potential to grow in those. A lot of people, your Saturn sign in your birth chart, that's going to be the place where you struggle the most, but it'll also be the place where you have the opportunity to overcome and become the most powerful. I have a Saturn in Pisces. Yep, feel bad for me, please. Anytime I get overwhelmed by anything, I cry a lot, like a baby. And the water, I'm a Scorpio in the beginning of my chart, so water, that doesn't help. But I get weak and I become very baby, and it's really hard for me to get myself to move on with the situation. But that's not a bad thing, because also from my Pisces side comes my creativity and my spark of joy and the magic that I see in the world, and being able to see beyond what's here and to be this creator who creates worlds inside my head. And I actually wrote all the way up until college, and I hope someday to write again. And I've written just books and books and books, and that, even though it's my greatest weakness, it's also my greatest power. And I think that is very much what this card is telling you, is whatever limitation you're experiencing with this situation, you have the potential to become really powerful and to really learn and grow and obtain skills that could hugely benefit you in the future. Okay, we're almost done. Last card, your final message from the universe, notes from the universe. These are just short, cute little messages. And you know how this is the stone to help with fear? When fear speaks, it's always wrong, unless being chased by wildebeests. And when love speaks, it's always right and usually bouncy. Game on, the universe. Don't be misled. And I think what this final message is saying is, this seems like a situation that's super overwhelming, exciting, but overwhelming. And I think this is saying that whatever choices you make and whatever growth you take, don't be misled by fear. Fear tells you that you have limitations where you don't. Fear tells you that things are going to be terrible when they aren't. Fear can talk you out of some of the greatest gifts in the world. And I think that with this rack right here, I think that you have the potential to have one of the greatest, most exhilarating rides of your entire life. And I think that this spread is definitely recommending that you don't pass that up because of fear and because of change. And I think it's saying that no matter which direction you choose to take, trust yourself. And I think you're going to end up in amazing places because Spirit has huge plans for us that sometimes can suck, but most of the time end in good things when we get through the other side. So pile number 2, that was your reading. And I hope you have a lovely day, and I will see you next time. Hello, pile number 3, and welcome to your reading. So you chose the pyrite. So pyrite is actually a stone that I have a lot of really positive associations with, and I associate this with a lot with working on root chakra issues. So pyrite as a stone kind of has 2 major functions. One of them is grounding and protection. A lot like, I kind of consider it kind of a sister stone to hematite personally, just because it has that kind of grounding protection energy. It's heavy. And it also has heavy associations with working on abundance. So bringing wealth into your life, bringing abundance into your life. I highly recommend working with this stone when talking about matters related to the root chakra. If you've had some financial instability or sort of just some instability and insecurity around, your daily needs and that kind of thing, this is an excellent stone to work with. So that's kind of the energy you've got going into your reading. So let's get started. We're going to get started with your tarot cards here. So this is the white Numen deck. I will be putting all of the decks that I use in the description box down below. That way, if you have any questions about which deck I'm using or you want to check it out for yourself, it will be there. Pardon if there's any strange jump cuts. This deck does contain some titties, so I will need to censor it, and so, Daddy YouTube does not get angry. So let's start sort of with the general situation at large. So let's see what your first card is. So your first card is King of Wands. The King of Wands is someone who is very confident and very passionate and kind of very much someone who's on top of his game. Someone who's a superstar, a rock star, just really kind of has it all together and really is in his element and in a position of leadership and powerful and kind of knows what he's about. So that's kind of the first setup, I guess, to the situation. The second card is the King of Pentacles. So I associate a couple of meanings with this particular card, but I think in this instance, kind of what I'm seeing, because there's 2 king cards here, so that definitely is interesting. Kind of what I'm seeing with this situation is I'm actually seeing the traditional meaning, the deck interpretation, like the guide meaning of someone who maybe is exhausted. Maybe you were the King of Wands, and maybe you got worn out by all of your responsibilities. And maybe everything, you were this person who was vibrant, red beard, young, kind of strong and in his element, but now they're just gray beard, old, worn out, kind of sitting there exhausted, kind of struggling to maintain the weight of their responsibilities. I'll do the last card. Yeah, Ten of Wands. I definitely think that whatever responsibility and position of leadership you had, it definitely wore you out. Ten of Wands is, heavy, covered in those snakes. Everything's a burden, weighing her down, blocking her sight, blocking her voice, just kind of burdens run out of control. And it is interesting to me that there's a white snake on his arm there, and then she's covered in white snakes here. The white snake in a lot of traditional, like ancient symbolism, like ancient European symbolism, represented wisdom. So maybe with this Ten of Wands card, maybe you've seen too much, you've gone through too much, and maybe some of the lessons, the life lessons that you've learned and that you've sort of been put through are kind of weighing on you. And they're too much. They're too overwhelming. They're just really kind of blocking you from feeling free and passionate and confident. And maybe the leadership and the power that you have that once was really exciting and made you feel really good about yourself, maybe it's kind of become a bit of a burden and you're just struggling under the weight of it all and you're exhausted and you're kind of worn out. So that's kind of sort of what I'm seeing in the beginning. Let's pull a couple more tarot cards. These are going to kind of continue to further talk about the situation. So let me get those out. Let's see. So we've got Okay, we've got the Page of Pentacles, or Page of Pentacles, goodness gracious, Page of Wands. So yeah, we've got the Page of Wands, and then we've got the Empress. Okay. So definitely kind of what that's speaking to me about. So the deck, the guidebook for this particular deck calls it the Novice of Wands, and I definitely am feeling that here. I think maybe what this is kind of talking about is getting back to whatever this is, whether it's like a leadership position at a job or like a relationship or a creative pursuit, like a craft or art, something like that. Getting back to the basics of it and kind of starting over from the beginning, kind of discovering your passion again for really what made you love that thing. Because, you know, wand is all fire, it's all passion, it's drive and passion and love for something. Maybe taking a little time out, maybe taking a step back from all that responsibility and maybe starting to see the passion again from where you started and really like what drove you in the beginning and the part of it that you fell in love with that led you to be that powerful in it, and kind of rediscovering your love for it for the first time. And I'm also seeing the Empress as well. The Empress is the card of, I think a lot about expansion when I think about the Empress. The Empress is expansion and abundance and unbridled growth. And I definitely feel that in this card here with all the growing vines in the garden that is just growing out of control, breaking out of its boundaries in the pot that it's in to kind of grow free. And maybe kind of what this is calling you to do, I think, is to rediscover your passion and kind of loosen those responsibilities a little bit. The King of Pentacles is definitely like weighed down by a bunch of responsibility. Maybe kind of push beyond your responsibilities a little bit and start seeing where you can grow again. Because restrictions are important and responsibilities are important, but sometimes they can block your growth. And maybe like those crawling vines pushing into the cracks and kind of seeing where some stuff in your life gives, and maybe that you can grow and expand kind of beyond the role that you've been locked into for a little while. Let us pull, we're going to look at some oracle cards here. These are going to give you a little more, these are my astrological oracle cards. These are going to give you a little more insight about what kind of energy is going on in the situation, and a little advice. Oh, so the first card we've got is Jupiter, which is grow and expand. That is matching that Empress energy here. Jupiter is the planet of victory and success and growth and expansion. The astrological sign that is associated with that is Sagittarius. So Sagittarians, they are free, they are explorational, they love learning, and they're passionate and they're fiery. Yeah, Sagittarians, they love learning, they love, you know, discovering their passions anew, always growing, always expanding, never locking themselves into one in particular like place or time. They're always seeking new opportunities and new experiences. And I think that's definitely what this is kind of talking about here, is going out and maybe taking a break and giving yourself the opportunity to have more freedom and start exploring your passion again and exploring kind of not just what made you love it in the first place, but maybe learn something new. Like maybe if this is a situation where you're an artist and you've been doing, like, I'm just thinking digital art, and you've been doing the same kind of drawing for a really long time. Maybe you drew landscapes or people or, you know, pets, maybe something like that. Maybe take a break from what you traditionally draw and maybe go explore like a different type of art medium, maybe like painting or, you know, like physical art. Or you could even, you know, if maybe you always draw, like maybe you draw characters, maybe you enjoy doing like fan art, maybe taking a break and like drawing landscapes or something. Just have a good Bob Ross night. Just take an opportunity to kind of explore and see what other opportunities and experiences you could have, because that can only flesh you out as a person. There's nothing harmful to it. It can only make you more experienced and more excited about the world around you. It's not going to hurt you. It's only going to make you more excited and have more fun. We've got Mercury. Think, learn, network, and communicate. So that's definitely the planet communication. I'm definitely feeling expressing how you feel a little bit. It feels like you're really overwhelmed right now, and maybe you need to kind of talk to somebody that you trust, maybe like a family member or a friend or like a romantic partner. Kind of tell them about what's going on and tell them how you're feeling. And you might not have wanted to tell people how you're feeling. You might have been wanting to maintain that like confident image for yourself of someone who's got it all together and knows what they're doing and knows what they're about. And maybe you've been afraid to break people's perception of you in that space, but it's really important to express your feelings when they're heavy and like when you're struggling with that kind of a thing. And so I think that's definitely what this is communicating, is kind of give yourself an opportunity, whether it's to yourself, whether it's to someone that you like know and or you trust. Give yourself the opportunity to express how you're feeling, and kind of work through some of what's going on in your head, because it's important to get some of that stuff out sometimes, because when it gets all trapped up in there, sometimes it's a lot. Yep. And the last card we've got here is the Moon, which is satisfy emotional needs, nurture yourself and others. So definitely working on expressing those emotions. I'm seeing you maybe have some like emotional blockages going on due to all that heaviness. That's heavy earth energy, specifically, and earth is not super known for letting emotions flow. And maybe you are really just, you have a lot of emotions and feelings you need to deal with. I'm seeing maybe you need to give your responsibilities to someone else for a while. Maybe if you don't like, not completely, stepping back a little and letting someone delegate some stuff, take some responsibilities from you. That way you can have this breathing room to take this space and kind of get some freedom and step back a little bit and work through some of your feelings. And working through your feelings is hard. I'm not saying it isn't. But I think that would probably be a really good idea for you to do in this kind of an instance, is spend some time talking out your feelings with someone, processing your feelings, letting yourself have some freedom and some new experiences, because I think that will do a lot to lift that heaviness going on. So we'll get a little more advice with some spirit animal cards here. The first one is the Sandpiper Spirit. So be playful. So that's a really good message. Being playful goes a long way, and play and just having fun in general goes a long way towards lifting heavy emotions and heavy burdens. And just take that break and take that Jupiter opportunity. Just go play around with something. Do something you've always kind of wanted to do, whether it's like creatively or like a vacation or something, or just like an activity you want to do. Maybe you've always wanted to like go snowboarding or something, or go play like midnight mini golf or something. Just go have fun. Go think of something fun to do, and to add a little more play back into your life. Because with the weight of all those responsibilities, I don't think you've had time to play in a really long time. And play is actually really important. Human beings are the most creative when they play, and they're the most at peace and relaxed. We're meant to play. We're meant to have fun. We're not meant to be heavy all the time. So that is definitely some good advice for that. And then Flamingo Spirit, embrace the in-between. Okay, that's kind of interesting. Huh. Give me just a moment. I'm gonna look at the guidebook real quick and see if I can't find some, see what the specific message is on this one. Okay, I'm back. Basically kind of what I'm seeing, which is interesting, because it's definitely tying into that root chakra, like pyrite grounding issues. Because it was interesting, whenever we pulled all the cards about heaviness, it made me think of the pyrite and how that's a heavy stone. And it matches, honestly, a lot with the gold on the pentacle that he has there. And I was wondering if maybe that the pyrite was actually talking about the heaviness that you're carrying. But actually, the Flamingo Spirit talks about balance, and it talks about the in-between, and it talks about transitions in your life, and it talks about states where you kind of need to have one foot in the clouds, one foot on the ground, if that makes sense. Basically, it's kind of talking about balance, and it's talking about being confident even as your situations and opportunities are changing. And I'm thinking maybe part of the reason why you haven't given yourself this opportunity to step back and have fun yet is maybe you're scared. Maybe there's something financially, or there's something related to your home life or your stability that is keeping you from taking this freedom and taking this liberty because you don't know if you can afford to. Whether financially, like I said, or just emotionally, relationally, for whatever reason, you're not sure you can afford to expand. Maybe you feel like you need to stay here because you're afraid that if you don't, you won't have enough. And I think that the flamingo spirit is trying to tell you that balance will be important here. I still think you should take that break. If you can take a vacation, I think it'd be a good idea. But when you come back from the vacation, I think that this is kind of telling you that you kind of need to embrace the in-between. I think you need to be this, and you also need to be playful. You need to be stable, and you also need to expand. And that can be really difficult to pull off. That's a very delicate balance. But I think that the flamingo spirit's telling you that if you can find that balance, you can actually be an extremely successful, fulfilled person. And I think especially with that, with the pyrite here, I think it's telling you that you're going to be safe. You may have been too scared to do this before, but I think that it's telling you that if you do, you're going to be taken care of. That this is something spirit wants you to do and the universe wants you to do. And if you do choose to take this time to feel your emotions and take this time to work through things for yourself, you're going to be safe. And there's going to need to be a balance. You can't just quit your job. You can't just stop doing whatever it is you're doing or stop the relationship or whatever. So you need to find a balance where both your financial needs and your emotional needs are being taken care of. I think that's kind of what that's talking about. And we'll get a little bit more insight from, actually put this up there. We'll get a little more insight from these sacred creator cards. So this will just give us a little bit more insight, these oracle cards, before we wrap up on kind of where to go from here in this situation. Ooh, okay. Manifesting and doing in reverse. All right. So yeah, I'm definitely feeling that with that flamingo spirit balance of, I don't know how much you know personally about manifesting. If you're watching a tarot video, you probably at least know something about manifesting. Manifesting is putting out your intention into the universe and calling a situation to yourself. So whether it's, a goal or a dream that you have that you want to achieve, but manifesting is basically when you're calling in something to yourself, whether it's wealth or a relationship or a job, something that you want. You're calling it into you from the universe by being grateful for it and feeling like you already have it. But a big part of manifesting that's really important is actually taking steps to manifest. So you can't just sit there and wish for $1 million. You should, wish for $1 million and then go out and start a new business, or wish for $1 million and go out and apply for a better job. The doing is a really important component to manifesting. And I think that's definitely balancing with that flamingo spirit of finding that balance of, meeting your emotional needs and your material needs. I think this is also saying and encouraging to you that, hey, if you're going to manifest something amazing, you need to manifest it and you need to take action. Dreaming and doing in equal balance and equal measure. So that's kind of the tea on that. And then we have got, let's see, what's your honest truth? Yeah, I was kind of feeling that with the moon a little bit. There might be some feelings that you just haven't admitted to yourself, and kind of the way that you feel about your situation and the way that you're perceiving yourself and you're perceiving what's going on right now. You may not be admitting things to yourself because you might not want to, because it might suck. And trust me, I get that. I get it. Believe me, I do. But I think that the sooner you can admit to yourself how you really feel and who you really want to be, I think the better, because I think that it's going to help. You probably felt like you're spinning your wheels for a little bit at this point, and it will probably help you get more traction than you realize, I think. And then the last card you've got is, the Rise card. So I know this card really well. It is a beautiful card. and it's the Rise card in reverse. And I've actually gotten this reading for myself several times before. And really the big one with that is, what is stopping you from rising? What is stopping you from rising and from conquering everything and from really being the person you want to be and being in the place that you want to be in your life? And a lot of it's probably fear. I mean, heck, a lot of it's fear for me. If I'm completely honest with you, I've been terrified to film these videos. I've wanted to, and I've been so excited to, but I've just been scared to start YouTube, especially after some experiences I've had in the past. But I've needed to take the step, and I filming this now, I'm so glad I did, because this is coming so natural and so easy, and I'm having so much fun doing it. But what is stopping you from achieving the goals that you want to achieve, and what's stopping you from rising? And some of it might take admitting that honest truth, and some of it might take working on those emotions and those emotional needs that have been neglected. But I think that once you do that, you will have the opportunity to really get to a place and bring in those manifestations and really be who you want to be and be sort of where you want to be in life. And the last card we've got, the very last card, is a message from the universe. So this card is, sometimes the best way to remain sane is to love like crazy. Works for me, the universe. And then the back of the card message is, turn on your love light. So that was your reading, pile number 3. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time. All right, so last but certainly not least is pile number 4. This is kind of the powerhouse pull of my piles this time. I don't know if you felt that too. This is probably gonna be one of the most intense ones. Not in a bad way, just it's definitely strong. You guys chose the opalite. So in my research on opalite is actually a man-made stone. It's not naturally found. But it is not a bad thing. That's not a bad thing at all. Opalite is very beautiful. It's got that like iridescent rainbow hue, kind of see-through look. And it is specifically known for working with your third eye. So if you have third eye blockages, if you have an overactive or underactive third eye, or if you're kind of needing to see the truth in your life and kind of see more of your spiritual experiences or find your path and your guidance, opalite is very good for sort of lending a friendly helping hand to that. So that is kind of your crystal energy going into this reading. Let's stand her up. No, she's not going to stand up. This is how she's going to, there we go. Okay. All right. Let us start with your tarot cards. So I am using this is the white Numen deck. I will be including all of the tarot decks that I use in the description box down below. That way, if you have any questions about any of the cards, like which deck I'm using, you will be able to see it down there. And this is going to kind of give us the general reading on the situation. If there's any awkward jump cuts here, this deck does contain some tatas, so I will have to pause and censor so I don't have any problems. So let us get started with this. So your first card, ooh, starting off strong, the 7 of Swords. Okay, so the 7 of Swords traditionally represents sneakiness and betrayal. This card in particular is showing a man who is either currently being executed for being the betrayer or currently being betrayed by people he trusted. So starting off strong here. Let's see what the next card is. Judgment. Okay. All right. That is interesting. So judgment typically denotes deciding what in your life needs to stay and what needs to go, and kind of having a really clear view of what is good for you and what isn't, and what you need to cut out of your life and what you need to keep, and the things that you need to keep flourishing. That's definitely the energy of the Judgment card. And then the last card is the Star. Oh, okay. Well, that's good. That's not a bad thing. So the Star represents hope and spirituality and sort of belief in the universe. So I'm very much seeing here actually a lot of what I've been going through recently, pardon me, which is that Seven of Swords talks about someone betraying you. Maybe it was friends and family members, or maybe it was a situation, or maybe it was just something turned on you that you didn't expect to. And there's sort of that, maybe you didn't expect it to turn on you like that, but maybe in some ways you were kind of prepared. I don't know how else to put that except just, you know, you were kind of emotionally prepared, because there's that kind of acceptance in his eyes that maybe he kind of saw this coming. He kind of felt it even if he didn't see it outright. And so he's just sort of frustrated and dead-eyed. And because of that betrayal, you've made some decisions. You have kind of glowed up a little bit. You have put down the band hammer a little bit, so to speak. You have cut some people out. You have made some hard choices. You have removed some things that were not good for you. And you kind of are in a healthier place now because of that. And because of that, there's kind of, you've either gotten back some hope already, or there's some hope on the horizon. This definitely kind of denotes to me that there's some good stuff coming into your life. You've been through some tough times, but definitely there's some really positive stuff that's about to come into your life. Some wealth, some abundance, some new friendships, some really just some hope and some new direction and some lightness. Some like much needed lightness coming into your life. And maybe it's a little hard for you to believe. Maybe it's a little fantastical, you know, all these golden herons around this woman and what looks like the Nile, you know, maybe it's a little fantastical, and maybe you're not quite sure if you can believe yet that some good stuff is coming. But I think this is definitely saying that some really good stuff is kind of on the way for you. So let's continue with couple more tarot cards to kind of let you know what else is going on, sort of further the situation. We got Ace of Pentacles, so I wasn't wrong about the good stuff coming for you. Ace of Pentacles is traditionally new, fresh opportunities that are coming your way, opportunities for growth and abundance and wealth and just everything you've ever wanted, that kind of thing. So definitely feeling those new positive opportunities. And then we've got the Lovers. Okay. So that could have a couple of meanings. So you could be getting some new love into your life. Maybe somebody who's a little opposites attract. Maybe somebody who's a little, you know, he's the minimalistic monochrome, and maybe you're the flowery like, and you know, I know that's my vibes at least. But like flowery female, like Victorian era energy. But you could be getting some new love into your life. Maybe a romantic partner, maybe a new passion, maybe a new opportunity that like in work or in career or family or friends or whatever. Maybe a new opportunity to do something fun and have a blast and kind of, you know, have a good time. Or maybe you could also be making some more decisions. Maybe kind of a little bit of the fork in the road of, you know, you had to make some hard judgment calls with this betrayal situation. Maybe at this point, maybe you're kind of choosing your vibe, so to speak, of with these new opportunities coming in, you're kind of picking which path you're going to go down or picking which energy you're going to carry with you. And that might be a little hard because it might be that both choices are good and that you like the aesthetics of both choices. And it's just kind of you deciding which road you want to take with all this. Which if it is that choice, trust your gut. That's what I'm learning right now is just trust your gut. Just do it. Don't overthink it. Don't overcomplicate it. I know that listen, I got a Scorpio Mercury. Okay. I overthink everything all the time. It's one of my biggest issues. And there's a lot of reasons as to why you can't. And trust me, oh my God, I get that. But don't overthink it. If it's meant to be, then you're going to find a way to make it work. And that's just the tea on that. But yeah, that's that energy. Okay, so this is a good reading. This is a really positive reading. And yes, this was a special one as well because everybody else got 3 astrology cards and you get 4 astrology cards because this is the special pile. So let's get into some astrology cards to kind of see what the general vibe is around this situation. We've got the Sun, and this card was attached to it of, okay, all right, okay. It was this. So the Sun, which is self-express and embody truth. So just being yourself and having that individuality. And then house 3, early learning, childhood relations, the rational mind, and communication. So I was kind of feeling maybe like a new job with this, like pentacles, and I might be right. This could be a new opportunity, whether it's like in career or in creativity. A chance for you to express yourself and to communicate. House 3 reminds me a lot of like communication and like speaking to other people and like expressing yourself. This could be a new job where you get to, you know, have a new form of self-expression and stand out and be a leader in your workspace, or maybe a new career you're starting where you can be more yourself, or maybe just a new opportunity in general, maybe a creative opportunity, something like that, where you can be more yourself and be more open and be unafraid to be yourself. Because I know that especially after that kind of, listen, after this kind of ish, I'm telling, like, I just went through it. I'm telling you, like, it makes it hard for you to feel safe enough to express yourself. And I think that that's what this is telling you, is that you're going to have an opportunity. And I know it's hard because with that star card, a little bit fantastical, like maybe you can't quite imagine it, but you're going to have a chance to be more open and expressive and show yourself more. And I think that's amazing. So what other cards we got? We got the South Node, destined to release. Ooh, that is some good stuff, actually. This is probably the most positive reading I've had of all these piles, actually. The South Node is, so in astrology, if you don't know, you have a node in your astrology, and it's a particular positioning that happened when you were born. And it's on your birth chart, and it tells a little bit about your life experiences and kind of your reincarnation cycle. So kind of who you were in a past life and who you're destined to become in this life. And I know that so the South Node is like who you were, and you need to release that, and whatever's opposite of it is what you need to become. So for me, I was, my South Node's in Aries, like that fighting energy and creativity and like independence and like being a loner. But my North Node's in Libra, which means I need to be more peaceful and spend more time around other people and sort of integrate into a community and not be so self-centered, not in like a negative way of like I'm bad self-centered, but more self-centered of like my agenda is my own and I don't really care about other people's agenda, and incorporating other people into my life more. So I think that this is really saying that this positive opportunity that's coming to you is going to help you release some of your South Node energy. So whatever your South Node is that you need to release, and that trauma and that pain that you need to let go of, you're going to be getting to release it some. So that's a very positive reading. And then the last card we've got is Cardinal. Really feeling that job, really feeling that leadership opportunity, because the cardinal is a classification of some of the astrological signs, and cardinal is instigation, bravery, and a pioneering spirit. I believe it's, oh god, I can't ever remember what's that one? It's Aries, Cancer, Capricorn, and then I forget what the other one is. Is that Aquarius? I'm gonna embarrass myself. I'm so sorry. I can never remember I can remember some of the symbols. I know so much about astrology, and I still can't get my brain to memorize the symbols for some reason. But a lot of people draw them in very different shapes, so sometimes that's why I think I get confused. So yeah, just basically the signs that have a cardinal. So this is the person who trailblazes. This is the person who takes and create something entirely new that no one's ever seen before. And I think with this opportunity that's coming to you, you're going to have an opportunity to create something for the first time and be that leader and be that person who starts a new trend and you know, sets that fashion trend, sets that new like art challenge that's going around. Really someone who just pioneers something in the field of your choice. You know, creates something new at their job. Just really like does that. Just is that ish. You know what I mean? Just is that person that drives something entirely new, and people will give you credit for it too. So that is really exciting. So we're going to move on for just a second. We're going to get your spirit animal cards. So we're going to kind of see some more insight into sort of what energy you should be carrying, maybe a little advice on what you should be carrying into this situation. Okay, perfect. So let's see the first one here. We have got the wolf spirit, turn knowledge into wisdom. So the wolf spirit definitely calls to us to, you know, we all go through life experiences and they teach us things, and sometimes they teach us things in a difficult way. But this experience, as much as it sucked, it taught you some things, and clearly it taught you some things because of that judgment card and the fact that you were able to cut something out and make those positive changes, even if they were hard, make those tough but positive changes in your life. The fact that you were able to do that is already like a really good thing. It means you learned something. And I think that the wolf spirit is telling you to have confidence in those lessons that you learned, and take that knowledge and turn it into your own inner wisdom, and give yourself credit for going through those and learning those lessons, and start to integrate those lessons into yourself as tools to carry with you for the rest of your life. Because those lessons that you learn, they will get to stay with you forever. They are all these positive, like bright, shining tools that you'll get to continue to use. Yes, so you get to take these lessons that you've learned and turn them into your own internal wisdom for something that you can be proud of and something that you know you've achieved. We've got the scarab beetle spirit. Magic works through you. I don't think there's much more explanation that needs to be said there. You are full of magic and mysticism, and you have really reached a place in your life at this point where you've got it together. Not that you're perfect, because none of us are, but you're really starting to integrate those lessons, and you're really starting to get on top of your stuff. And at this point, spirit is flowing through you, and your creativity is flowing through you, and your drive and your passion, and you are either in a good place in your life or getting to a good place in your life. And that is a really good thing. And keep trusting that magic, and keep trusting that wisdom that you've found and that you've made for yourself, because you will need to use it in the future, and you will be able to use it in the future with all these positive experiences that are coming your way. Little bit more advice before we wrap up from our Sacred Creator cards. Let's see what energy we've got. We've got lead your metamorphosis. Look at those colors right next to each other. Look at those colors. That pink, that's the same like mauve-y pink. Oh, that's interesting. It all matches. Basically what this is saying is that transformation happens to you, but it can also come from you. And you're really at a time in your life now where, with all these positive changes and experiences, you get to choose what path you go down and sort of who you become. And with that Lover's card of making that choice of that aesthetic or that new passion, really decide who you want to be and just go for it. Just pioneer it. Really lead who you want to be in the future, because it's going to bring you joy. I think with that betrayal is not something that you had control over, and you may have been feeling helpless afterwards. And this is really saying that now you're going to be in a place in your life where you get to choose, and you get to lead your own transformation, and you get to find your own power and do your own stuff. And I think that is just a really positive message to have. You've got the now. Okay. So that is definitely talking about be present in the present moment. And I know, as someone who actually does suffer from PTSD and suffer from some really severe, like I'm talking pretty severe anxiety, it is hard frankly, for me not to dissociate 24/7, if I'm just being really honest with you. There's actually there were very many years in my life where I did, because this is not the first time I've experienced a betrayal. I've actually experienced a lot of betrayals, and it is difficult when you have been through that kind of trauma to not want to just put yourself on autopilot and kind of either block out things that overwhelm you, or kind of still be on high alert, still searching for the danger and still searching for the things that could come along and hurt you again. And I think what this card is saying is that you don't have to do that anymore, that it's over. The worst of it is over. You have been through the worst of what you're going to go through. You can let go, and you can actually be in the moment, and you can live your life, and you can feel your experiences. Because what good is positive change, and what good is wealth or abundance or a new relationship or a new job if you can't fully feel how good it is? You know, like, being the richest person in the world means nothing if all you're doing is sitting in your living room, spacing out, worried that something else is going to hurt you. You need to be able to enjoy the fruits of your labor and the fruits of what you've gone through and what the universe is bringing you. And so I think that this is definitely encouraging. You know, don't push yourself. Trust me, as someone who like deals with really bad mental health issues, if it's hard, there's days it's hard. And if there are days that you need to, just let yourself. But try to sort of start working on bringing yourself into the present moment and experiencing what you're experiencing right here and now, because it has so many positive benefits and so much abundance. And there's really no joy like being here and fully experiencing the things that make you happy and fully experiencing the things that will bring you joy. And it can be a little overwhelming at first, but I think that this is definitely telling you that you're moving into a phase in your life where you will be able to really live in that moment and be present and feel the beauty and the joy of everything that you're going to experience, because you're going to experience some amazing things. And the last card we have, what does your soul say? So what does your soul say in reverse? Okay. You've been through a lot, clearly, and you're clearly full of a lot of like struggles with a lot of this. Start learning to listen to yourself, and you know, remember what I was saying about listen to your gut? Listen to your gut. Listen to your soul. Listen to the true beat of what you really want out of life. Just start to listen to yourself. Give yourself space to talk and room to speak on how you feel. Just let yourself... I'm trying to figure out how to put this into words, because this is actually a lesson I've been going through a lot lately. Let yourself feel and let yourself flow, and let what you really want rise to the surface, and let other things that are just kind of superfluous fall away. Listen to your soul. Listen to your heart's desire. Listen to who you truly want to be, because you're the one who gets to decide where you're going from here. Like, positive experiences are going to come into your life. You can choose yes, you can choose no, you can choose whatever you want. Just choose what makes you happy and brings you the most joy, and choose the things that really sets your soul on fire and gets you moving and passionate, because you are about to be given so many incredible opportunities, and the greatest joy is being in tune with yourself and being able to enjoy who you really are and what you really want. And the last message I have for you, our final card, this is a note from the universe. Actually, the only effective way of changing another person, or I would say situation too, is by changing yourself. Works every time, guaranteed. Though I'm kind of partial to the way you are right now. Tally ho, the universe. Change is always good. So, that was probably one of the nicest readings I've ever had the entire time I've done tarot. Oh my goodness, that is so positive, and that's full of so much relief, and I'm so glad. So I'm glad. Whoever this finds, I really hope that you can feel that it's over and that things are about to get better. And I'm happy for all of us, because I think this one definitely applies to me a lot as well. So Thank you, pile number 4, and thank you for watching this video in general. I will see you guys next time.